It's the first time they've allowed cameras behind the glass at Pulsar headquarters in Lithuania.
I just love all this nuts and bolts and things. That's me through and through, really.
To hunters and shooters, Pulsar is a household name, a company that leads the world in consumer night vision and thermal optics. Part of that journey, in the UK at least, has been alongside distributors Thomas Jacks, and it's with the Tom element of Thomas Jacks that Tim Pilbeam, a long-time user of Pulsar products, is going to learn how this European company works, thinks, ticks, and what the future will look like for you peering through a Pulsar unit by the end of the decade.
So whether there's a need for thermal to go 4K, I could say in 5 years' time I could see maybe first applications coming out.
Over the next few days we'll go through the Pulsar facilities in Lithuania and neighbouring Latvia. There's a trip to the range, a monster of a truck, and an opportunity for us to sit up for and stalk a Latvian wild boar with the newest Pulsar technology on the market.
Am I happy? Yes, I am.
With so much to cover, let's start with the product assembly in Lithuania's capital, Vilnius. Our guide is Liudas, Pulsar's chief marketing officer. On our tour, Tim spots a product that's about to replace his beloved Pulsar Helion, a thermal spotter popular with UK shooters.
Can we show that?
So it's coming.
So the really popular Helium, which we've all used for years and years, we just absolutely love the Helium, and now that's going.
That's been superseded
by the
the Telos.
And
oh my God, are you sure?
yeah, the Helion has been a very, very good soldier for us for many years, and it's time to let the old dog rest. The big thing, other than an absolute overhaul of the housing and the addition of the laser rangefinder and many other bits, that it's our first upgradable device. Let's say you now buy an XP version without LRF. You use it for a while and then you kind of understand that you need that laser rangefinder. Or a new sensor comes out, like the HD sensor, and you want to upgrade. So instead of buying a whole new device, you will be able to send that back to us, and we will replace just the bits that need to be replaced and charge you just for those bits instead.
That is brilliant, because technology is moving so fast. And instead of buying a whole unit, just change it. That's a brilliant concept, isn't it?
We're going to launch the program the second quarter next year, but the ones that you buy now are still going to be able to be upgraded.
Later we'll discover that the Telos is not the only Pulsar unit undergoing future-proofing. Typically, any company building high-end optics has a torture chamber in the basement. Pulsar is no different. Here, the dedicated scopes and add-ons are impact tested.
Really noisy.
So every single gun-mounted device, whether it's a front attachment or a rifle scope, digital or thermal, goes through a recoil test. Wow. 6,000 joules, 50 times. And every single product will go through that cycle before it's going to go into the market.
Impressive.
What sort of recoil is that? What sort of rifle would give that sort of recoil? Is there a rifle that would give that sort of recoil?
7.5.
Yeah,
375. Yeah.
H&H.
Vilnius is a thriving modern city, as well as being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and at the time of our visit was preparing to play host to the 2023 NATO summit. As well as having offices here and in neighbouring Latvia, Pulsar also has facilities in Scotland, Belarus and Ukraine.
So you're just relocating, reinvesting, starting afresh in some ways, yeah? Wow, huge investment.
In response to the war, Pulsar has effectively pulled out of Belarus. The Kiev R&D facility is still operational, but many workers and their families fled to Lithuania and Latvia when the conflict started. Pulsar is supporting them all.
War in Ukraine, again, we decided that all our social responsibility projects will be given only for Ukrainian needs, only for support various organizations which supports Ukrainians. Last year, we allocated about 2 million euros for fundings for various organizations. And today, we support 2 Ukrainian schools which works here in Vilnius. It's about 800 school children.
The driving force behind Pulsar's social responsibility and business success was its founder and CEO, Alexander Alszewski, who died earlier this year. His legacy will live on in the children he was instrumental in offering safe passage and a safe haven.
We're in a school full of Ukrainian children. There's over 400 children here, and they've literally been rehoused or taken out of Ukraine, and they're actually given accommodation and they've been educated here. And Pulsar's influence is actually to facilitate this. So their kind of social and community responsibility, they value very, very highly. But to see this is full of, you can hear them behind us, young children who are happily playing together. Quite special, really.
Back to the kit, and one thing that consumers complain about is the price of thermal technology. So what's the most expensive part, Ludas?
People.
Good answer. Good answer. I like that.
And it's easy to understand. People are needed in all aspects of the assembly line and quality control. People are adaptable with transferable skills.
Because it's changing so fast, it's much easier to teach a person to do that for that life cycle rather than calibrate all the robotic arms to work precisely. Because by the time robot is going to be able to do that, we in marketing and R&D are going to change something, and that's why production.
So basically, what you say, you're quite nimble.
Absolutely.
You can flex with the market.
Time for Tim to get a bit more hands-on with the latest Pulsar technology. So we commandeer the Dodge Ram TRX and head to the range.
Tim, we've driven about an hour away from Vilnius, so very nice little range we've arrived at.
Yeah, day 2. So we're out on the range, but it's a beautiful facility they got here. They've got quite a variety of ranges out to maybe 200 metres. Really nice, actually. It just shows you how, perhaps abroad, how they put so much more emphasis into actually shooting and actually range work for the hunting licenses anyway. So now is actually the proof in the pudding. Let's get out on the range. They've got the Thermion Pro, which has an inbuilt ballistic calculator as well, so I'm going to be really intrigued to see how that works in the field. So therefore you put your ballistics in, so your point of aim is worked out for you. So we're undercover, which is great. We just need to get hold of some product and burn some ammo.
Now Tom doesn't just sell the stuff, he uses it too, and is a super keen rifle shooter, especially when it comes to foxing. So it's an ideal opportunity for him to show Tim how to stretch the legs of the Thermion XP50 Pro with its inbuilt ballistic technology.
We're going to zero this at 50 yards and then we'll push it out a bit further and it will show you what your drop is.
Okay, so this is the 2.2.
Yep.
So it'll be, as you say, it'll be interesting to see if how well the app works. 0 to 40 to 50, and we just go stretching out to 100, probably 120 perhaps.
Yeah.
See how it works.
About that. And
it's
then,
really good.
Yeah, you'll see what it does or calculates it all for you. So
okay.
It'd be good to put it through the test.
Yeah.
Do you think, Tom, then eventually it'd be useful on an air rifle?
Yes, in theory, as long as all the data's in there correctly, then I don't see why not. Your FAC air gunners, people like that, yeah.
What about that 12 foot-pound on there? Not quite there yet.
We'll see.
Okay.
As long as all the information's there and the app can do it, I don't see why not.
Okay.
But I'm sure we can try it at some stage. Maybe it might be a further film,
Oh.
With the ballistic data for the 2.2 round selected, you can see it on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, Tim should be able to let the scope do all the heavy lifting.
Okay, first target. It's telling me it's 36 metres away. And with the cross, the red cross, I'm going to shoot it. Okay, second target. We're ranging it. The square box is telling me is actually 74 metres away. We put the red cross on the target and dead rabbit. Right, our furthest target, square box is ranging it, and it's telling me it's 140 metres away. We look in the PIP box, so I'm aiming at the head of that target, and it's 140 metres away. There you go. Interesting. So 36, 70 odd metres, 140 metres away, that's actually automatically kind of calibrated it. It's actually automatically worked out for me. So if it, in this application, rabbit shooting, it'd be brilliant. So I just go ping, range it, it's one over there, it's over there. It drops down for me, 140 metres away. It's dropping down about, I think, about 14 MOA. It's quite a bit. It's quite clever, actually, you know. But if you imagine putting that onto a centerfire rifle, and especially when you're fox shooting, the biggest problem with thermal, I find, actually, at night time, it's very, very hard to actually estimate that range. But this actually takes all the guesswork as well. So it tells you the range, and it will just drop that cross down. And I think it's such a bonus to have. So I think it's quite an important part of thermal, actually, range finding, and being able to actually say, yep, that reticle needs to be there. So, well done, good.
But didn't Tom say that's actually a facility that could maybe be put onto?
Yeah, interesting, that's right. So what you're saying, Tom, is that this software is transferable onto older models?
Yeah, so at the minute it's only available on the Thermion 2 XP50.
Yeah.
But if you've got an XQ Thermion, an XG Thermion, it's coming. So they're working on the XPs for now. They're listening to end users, listening to pro staff, gaining more feedback to basically get the best out of the app as they can. Then they're going to utilise it and issue it out on those models. And then I think the plan is they're going to then release it for the Thermion, not the Thermion 2, the Trail 2 models.
Okay.
So whether you own one currently or you're looking to purchase one, it may not have the firmware there ready to go out of the box, but yeah, go onto the app, download it, and away you go. So it's not like, oh, you've already got a model, I'm stuck, I can't do it. No, basically download the app, away you go.
Brilliant. Like the sound of that. That's good.
Before we leave, loose shingle on the track leading down to the firing point strands our people carrier. Thank goodness for V8 American muscle power. The justification for the marketing department's choice of promo vehicle is right there. Now, if you think the Thermion 2 LRF XP50 Pro is clever, you wait. Advances may mean you won't need a rangefinder for much longer anyway, or need to identify the animal sitting on the side of the field. Artificial intelligence will have it covered.
Experienced hunter, looking at thermal profile of the animal, he probably could tell what kind of animal it is. For the younger hunters or from like amateurs, that's much harder. So that's where like automatic object identification could help. Could help maybe train and teach young hunters or young users, saying, you're looking at this animal, potentially maybe distinguish whether it's a female or male.
Oh, really?
Whether,
okay,
so based on visual features, right?
So fox pops up on the screen, so that's a fox, or that's a deer, or that's a moose.
Yeah.
Is that?
That's pretty much it. You can identify something what kind of animal. Now, once it's being done with a high accuracy, there's a bunch of additional applications become available. Like first, the easy one would be like based on what animal it is, how big it is. You can calculate the distance automatically. You don't need laser rangefinder for that. So you more or less can estimate distance from your, from the site, from the user. The second application is like you could try to use, if you identify the animal, you could check also with the database in this region, in this time of the year, are they allowed to hunt? You could give a little bit of identification to the user, say, hey, watch out, this animal currently is not the season for it. Or by any chance, if you spotted a human, on your scope, just give a warning, say, hey, watch out, you're pointing your gun or a scope or, to the human being, and you have a warning. So that gives you a lot of safety and kind of user value added.
Accurate animal ID is essential in all hunting situations, especially when using thermal, which is why Tim and Tom get to see the difference between a badger and a raccoon dog outside our beautiful Latvian hunting lodge.
Not today. we can hunt only these Rocken dogs.
You're up for a challenge, Tim.
Yeah, let's say yes. They're very, very similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they must move differently at night time.
Differently, because they are eating everything. Yes.
Right.
No, we don't hunting the wild boar mums. Actually, in thermal scope, you see the balls. Yes.
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 So look for the
This is the right. Yes. Look at the balls. Yes.
technical term.
If
look
you
for the balls.
see the like a boops, yes, you can see there.
Oh yes, yeah.
This is
so,
mum.
so it's generally warm underneath,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the man at the back.
I love you trying to be politically correct.
The man with the warmth at the back and the woman. Okay, Mr. Pilbeam, so you're sitting on the back of a massive moose right now.
This is a moose high seat. So anyway, we've driven from Vilnius 3 hours into Latvia. So I got not quite sure exactly where we are, but in the most amazing scenery. And we've arrived at a gorgeous, as a hunting lodge, I suppose, really. And there's a club, a hunting club. I suppose we'll call it like a syndicate in the UK. About 25 members, and they actually hunt over about 8,000 or 9,000 hectares. They go 6 kilometres that way and 20 kilometres that way. Some of it's private land, some of it's kind of national forestry. And they shoot moose, they shoot red deer, obviously a lot of boar as well. But it's quite an interesting club actually. And the way they do things over here, you know, they have, let's say, 25 members, and they shoot a few, and they actually sell some of the trophies off. The big trophy red stags are about €5,000. So, you know, it's an interesting situation. But now my colleagues, as soon as they saw the rifles, they decided to take the rifles, and because none of them want to shoot a 9.3 by 62 with a 293 grain bullet. They went, yeah, 293 grain bullet. So they're absolute wimps as far as I'm concerned. So I've ended up with Merkel Helix on 9.3 by 62. Anyway, so most importantly, we're here because of the Pulsar. And we're using the LRF, which should be fantastic tonight. So I'll be playing around with a ballistic program on that as well. And we've got the new merger. So this is just apparently coming, is the LRF XL50. So it's got the very, very high resolution sensors on it. So that's absolutely amazing to look through. I mean, it's just fabulous. And also, and this will be coming out very, very shortly. We're actually manufacturing, and we actually saw it when we did our factory tour yesterday, the Telos. Now that's taking over from the Helion. It's really ergonomically right, and that's got the rangefinder as well. So David and I will be out spotting, see what we can find. A lot of mosquitoes. Oh, flipping mosquitoes everywhere. So we covered ourselves in Jollop, and I'm really got a good feeling about tonight. So fingers crossed, everything else crossed, we'll be successful.
To help with the local insect life, we have to thank Rovins for supplying us with trousers and tops, which minimise our tick risk and keep those mozzies at bay.
Lots of mosquitoes.
Yes. Okay, good.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. We've got 2 chairs, which like office chairs, which twiddle around. But when we look out there, we can see about, I don't know, 600-700 metres. So it's a fantastic place to shoot from. I see behind us is basically where the feed area is. And our man says to us that they all should come this way, so at least we've got a really good, plenty of time to spot something.
As the sun sets, we spot thermal signatures. The 9.3 shown in the bottom left-hand corner of the display reminds us of the ballistic data we've told the scope to work with. The additional footage is from David's Merger XL50 spotter unit. Messages coming through from the other guys tell us they're seeing boar, but nothing shootable. This is some of the footage from Ludus, who is nearly 600 metres from us on the opposite side of the fields. He can clearly see that he has sows and piglets, plus a red stag. This is footage from the entry-level Helion XG35 scope, and this is footage from his Merger XL50s. With nothing showing, Tim learns we're about to head out on foot. A trail cam has picked up pigs where they'd thought wolves had moved in and pushed them out.
We drew a blank at the last stand really, so we were in there for about 4 hours. Didn't see an awful lot, and so we just got a call they can take us somewhere else. So we just drive around the middle of the night with our man here, who's never been out this time of night with hunters. Yep. And we are just trying. I think I'm not sure, but I think they're taking us to another high stand. Do you think so?
I think we will need to walk through the boars because.
Okay, so we're going to go start stalking boar in Latvia.
Yes, because he's seen that on the camera that there are two males.
Oh, okay, some boar.
Yeah.
Okay, so what could possibly go wrong?
That's the right question.
With the niggling knowledge of being in Wolfville, we head off into the darkness with the head keeper, plus Reiners, who works for Pulsar Latvia. As we hope, there are boar feeding 50 metres from the nearest high seat. We get as close as we dare. 4 people in this situation is a liability. Although these Pulsar units can record great quality sound, it's not enabled. After some translating, Tim is 100% sure which pig needs taking. It's a 175 metre shot. No pressure, Tim. Tim takes the broadside shot. It sounds good, though you will have to trust us on that one.
Sounded solid, didn't it, Tim?
Yeah. This is the first time you've been out hunting?
Yeah.
Great.
This one, yeah. Like this, yeah.
Okay, fine. So what's happened? Your bullet's gone into the animal.
Yeah.
And gone through it probably, and come out the other side. So what we need to do is find the blood, like we are now.
Yeah.
And the animal will bleed out. Yeah, that's how he dies. So once we get a blood trail like now, we can follow it all the way through now.
So we need to go and find it.
We've got to find it now. So he's just tracking it up with the blood through there.
Well done, Tim.
Oh, aren't they amazing animals? So, which way was he facing us? He was facing that way, David, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was the in shot there then. Well, so that was 175 metres away. Oh, I can't see that. I'm blinded at the moment. So that's 175 metres away, and I based with the rangefinder. I zapped it. It told me it's that distance away, but it's quite tricky actually because the problem I had, there was 2 or 3 of them in a group, and I couldn't see one behind the other, so they kept moving around, and that's the biggest problem I found with it. So it took me quite a long time to make sure that this animal was on its own. So it moved from the right hand side, he went up the bank a wee bit, so I knew it was on his own. And then I thought, right, that's the one to get anyway. But it took quite a bit of time actually, just waiting, but patience paid off. But it looks like it was a pretty near perfect shot, perhaps a fraction back, but the job's done anyway. So really exciting. There's something about shooting wild boar I just can't really describe. You know, the technology's there now, and it's just a different. I know it's perhaps a different form of hunting. Perhaps that's what I was trying to say. Actually, you know, we are in the deepest of Latvia. You know, how mad does it get? And we're actually kind of hunting wild boar, and they are a problem around here. So yeah, we're doing a job, and really excited. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so pleased that I've actually managed to get a Latvian wild boar. Am I happy? Yes, I am.
Well done.
Back at base, the sun is rising, and Tom, who has never shot a boar, is keen to head out again.
I'm very lucky I actually got myself a pig tonight. But you've been a young gun.
Yeah, and
you're not going to be outdone by an old bugger, are you?
Nope.
So you're going to go out and prove yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully join you, bag one, and I'll see you this time next week.
Well, the flight leaves at about, I think, 1 o'clock on Thursday, mate. So you've got about 24 hours.
Yeah, four-hour drive.
Yeah,
okay.
You'll be all right. Good luck, mate.
I'll do my best.
Fair play, Tom.
I'll do my best.
Oh, to be young. There you go.
Right, rifle, thermal, phone.
Don't wake me up when you come home.
I'll try my best.
Good work. Go for it, mate.
I'll come and jump on you, David.
No, not again.
Right.
Go for it.
Off we go.
Oh, to be young. Oh, I tell you what, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. I just want to go to bed.
In just a few hours, we're going to look at Pulsar's multi-million-pound investment in Latvia, picking up where Belarus left off. One facility is all about manufacturing components. The other works hand in glove with the Lithuanian operation assembling the units.
I just love machinery.
Pulsar did dabble with using Chinese components in the past. Now, everything you hold in your hands is made in Europe.
So we go from plastic pellets to things like this. And I love manufacturing, but you've got a machine here which produces a wide variety of plastics. And you just explained to me that the plastic on the inside is a different type of feel to the one on the outside.
Yeah.
So that's one hell of a clever machine, isn't it?
It is. It does the multi-component molding.
Yeah. And all the dies for that are over there. So they just change those blocks and they squeeze those out, yeah?
Each die for each component is bespoke and costs tens of thousands of pounds to make.
So these are all the molds you have for the injection system.
Yeah.
And that apparently is...
So that is for Telus housing, and
Okay.
it's the most expensive one. And I'm not sure I can tell the exact price how much it is, but it's in
North
tens of thousands.
Really, just one mold?
Yes, for one mold.
Wow. But there's a lot of work goes into that, isn't there?
That's what it is.
Yeah. For that?
For this.
So that produces that?
So
Brilliant.
you see it's extremely complicated because of the buttons that have to go in.
Oh,
right?
I see, the actual buttons. Oh yeah, of course, they're all part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought those buttons were actually fitted, but not.
No, it's printed straight up with that housing, with the plastic inside and everything.
Brilliant.
So that's not two. That whole thing just creates
That thing creates that thing. With that thing creates that thing.
Your two presses, you got harder stuff on the inside, yeah. And you got a touch stuff.
Oh, present. Oh, cool. So that's £60,000 worth. Well, I shouldn't have said that, should I?
Can't take you anywhere.
We won't tell a soul, Tom. An R&D department is also based here in Latvia, with kit that looks like a set from Doctor Who.
Dog is cheap. Electricity is expensive.
Wow. Oh.
So what you might want to do is that you go in and take a sneak peek of what it looks like from the inside. Do that.
Yeah, is it going to mess with my camera?
No, it's not on. Сейчас на камере.
No?
That wasn't very affirmative.
Be afraid, just go.
Okay.
Close the door.
Okay. Yeah.
Can we walk in? Is that okay?
So
just walk here.
Alone,
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
so
Well, that's kind of like
essentially what allows you to do. All the electronics work.
around the corner.
Electromagnetic field.
Yes, EMFs. So.
And if you want to test how they interact with each other, you cannot isolate all the other electronics from the outside, right? So what this chamber allows us to do is, see specifically with this part, how it interacts with this one, but isolating everything else.
One vital component that demands quality control is the battery. They build them here in Latvia, and the specialist chargers that come with each unit. Every one is tested.
So battery life is a thing people often talk about. So with Pulsar, tell me what makes you different to everybody else.
You saw how many, components go into it to make it work. There's a processor, there's all these other bits. Each of them create their, magnetic field, which at the end of the day will interfere with the quality of your image.
Okay, yeah.
So making sure that these are consistent going help us to increase the image quality at the end of the day as well. One of the reasons why we only use proprietary batteries, because this way we can not only ensure that it's not going to blow up in your face if you're using some random one, but also that it's going to be consistent, acting at different temperatures, etc. So in order to assemble this, we go through the process. These are put together, they're welded, and what you see there is ultrasound welding. So what that does, it ensures that it's waterproof as well, and
there's a lot more to that than just a battery put in there.
Exactly.
As we've already heard, Pulsar is a company that looks after its people. Their investment in this part of Latvia will change the lives of not just its workers, but everyone in Daugavpils.
And I hear that your manager here is Belarusian, so he's brought those skills from Belarus to make sure that this
the main production manager is Belarusian, and he relocated here in Latvia with all his skills and education. So he working right here and do this goods.
That's brilliant.
Our trip and our story ends with the end product.
I think we've got Telos, Merger XL.
There's even a box with Tom's name on it.
So this is the outward bound, this is all ready to go abroad, and we've actually managed to find a package or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 to Thomas Jack's. So yeah, there we go, so that's ready to go. So hopefully they'll be back in the UK before we return tomorrow perhaps. Do you think so? Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool, yeah. So what's it like having your name on these boxes, Thomas?
Well, it makes me feel special.
Is that right? Yeah. What about your brother? Does he feel a bit left out a wee bit? Is it favouritism?
He normally gets a special treatment.
Does he? Well, yeah.
Fastest #1.
Oh, I see.
It's been a fast and furious tour of a company that's been at the heart of a technological revolution. And there's clearly far more coming down the track. For more information about Pulsar products in the UK, go to thomasjacks.co.uk or go to pulsar-vision.com.